Hello viewers, welcome to our lecture series on contemporary issues in business and management, and in that very series we have been talking about ESG reporting in India. So this is going to be part 2 of our lectures on ESG reporting in India. Now let me tell you about the background of BRSR, that is the current reporting regime, which is known as Business Responsibility and Sustainability Report. So SEBI wide its circular dated 10th May 2021. It replaced the earlier BRR with this new regime of BRSR. Now you must be thinking whether it is only a change of name or there is something else into it. Of course, there is a lot of change into the current reporting in the name of BRSR. BRSR actually pertains to the company's performance against the 9 principles of what you call as NGRBC. Now, what is this NGRBC? These are national guidelines on responsible business conduct. So, that has been incorporated into BRR. Earlier in BRR, it was not there in place, and BRR had some limited reporting mandate, and it was reported by the companies in their own way. They were reporting, but now BRSR is more systematic and a framework based reporting system, where the 9 principles of NGRBC they have been incorporated and their performance is being recorded on those parameters. Now reporting under each principle is divided into essential indicators and of course the leadership indicators as well. So it is more quantified kind of reporting system, where you can quantify the performance of the company on these parameters. So the essential indicators, they are required to be reported on a mandatory basis, whereas the reporting of leadership indicators is voluntary in nature. Still it is voluntary, that if you feel like reporting about the leadership indicators, you may report, otherwise you may skip as well. So it is completely as per the discretion of the company as far as leadership indicators are concerned. Now BRSR format is intended towards having a quantitative and standardized disclosure on ESG parameters to enable comparability across companies, sectors and time. So if you wish to make a comparison across companies, across different sectors or across different timelines, you can make a comparison that what is your performance vis-a-vis other companies, what is your performance of last 5 years and till date what you have done. So you can compare that last year your result was this on account of ESG parameters, and this year you stand here, and accordingly you can make improvements into your actions, into your plans, into your strategies, so that you are always a step ahead of your competitors, of your group companies, and even your competition is with yourself, that you have to always emerge as a best company or always emerge as an excellent company when it comes to ESG parameters. Now it becomes my duty to tell you what these 9 principles are, because unless we know these 9 principles, we can't understand the change between the BRR and BRSR. So the 9 principles I am going to explain to you one by one. The first principle is that business should conduct and govern themselves with integrity in a manner that is ethical, transparent and accountable. So crux is that as a business house, your conduct and governance should be completely with integrity, and it should be conducted in a manner which is ethical, transparent. There is complete transparency into your behavior, and there has to be accountability in place. If something wrong happens, you should hold yourself or the concerned person accountable for the mishappenings, for the wrongdoings. So that is the first very principle out of 9 principles. The second is that as a business entity, you must provide goods and services in a manner that is sustainable and safe. Your practices of offering products or services to the customers must be sustainable and safe. It should not be in that way where the safety of either the distribution partners, the channel partners or the customers is being compromised. So it has to be safe and sustainable. The third principle is that you should respect and promote the well-being of all your employees, because employees are also one of the stakeholders. So you have to ensure and promote, respect the well-being of all employees, and it includes those employees who are there into the value chains, which means I'm talking about the suppliers also. It's not only the employees who are on the rolls of your company, but also the people who are coming in contact with us while delivering their products and services to us. So the sourcing of different resources, the value chain should also be respected. They should also be promoted. Their well-being should also be promoted. The fourth one is that you should respect the interest of and be responsive to all your stakeholders, whether it is government or it is banker or it is the loan provider or your shareholder or employees. So every stakeholder is equally important. So you should have a holistic approach to respect the interest of each and every stakeholders. You should not confine yourself only to the shareholders, that they are the one who are the real owners of the company, so I would only listen to them. I would not pay my concern towards the employees, towards the debt providers, for instance banks and financial institutions, even the government, because we need to respect the government laws. We should pay taxes on time. That is also coming as a principle into out of 9 principles which are being mandated under NGRBC. Then comes, you should respect, fifth one, we should respect and promote human rights as well. There should not be any cruelty against any human being. So you should respect and promote human rights also. The sixth one is that as a business entity, we should respect and make efforts to protect and restore the environment. So we are not only supposed to protect the environment but also restore it. We should at least try to keep our environment safe, and whatever we have inherited, we should not destroy that. So there is a point that once you have protected it, you should go a step ahead and start thinking about restoring the environment, restoring the depleting water resources which you are actually using continuously. So that is also one of the 9 principles. The seventh one is that while engaging in and influencing public and regulatory policy as a business entity, you should do so in a manner that is responsible and transparent. So when you are engaging in and trying to influence public, whatever advertisement you are floating, whatever communication you are spreading, you should do it in a responsible and transparent manner. There should not be any misleading advertisement, or there should not be any misleading statement by your company, or you should not pass any comment or statement which is hurting anybody or any segment of the society. That should not happen. And the eighth one is that as a business entity, you should promote inclusive growth and equitable development. You have to ensure the inclusive growth. You should not do any kind of discrimination with any of the stakeholders. Whosoever is coming in contact with you, you have to be you have to have your uniform behavior towards each and everyone without any kind of discrimination. And the last one is that you should engage with and provide value to your consumers in a responsible manner, because we all know that customers are king or queen, and we have our survival is because of the customer only. So we have to value their we have to provide the value to our customers in a responsible manner. It is our responsibility to ensure that my customer is not only satisfied but also feel delighted. So my dear learners, these are the 9 basic principles which have been incorporated while determining the parameters of BRSR. So in BRSR reporting, all these 9 principles, they have been duly incorporated, and the essence is that you should take care of all the stakeholders, be it society, be it your employees, be it your customers, or whosoever is coming in contact with you directly or indirectly. You have to ensure your behavior to be responsible and transparent. Now you must be witnessing that these 2 keywords are there in almost all 9 principles: responsible and transparent, responsible and equitable. So somehow we have to not only be responsible but also transparent into our dealings, into our behavior, into our activities. That is something which we have to ensure. Now the question comes, what is the benefit of implementing BRSR and ESG? Because some corporate entities, they had this question and debate the moment this reporting standard came into its existence, that do we actually need BRSR and ESG reporting? Answer is yes. There is immense benefit of significant benefit of BRSR and ESG reporting, and globally it has been proven. So there are number of researches which are conducted, and still the research is going on, and we are also doing research in Indian scenario, the way it is being implemented and the kind of benefit we are getting out of it. So if we try to implement all these 9 principles in its letter and spirit, we can have immense benefit out of this reporting standard. It should not be merely for filling the blanks or doing the reporting on paper. It should actually happen in letter and spirit. So if we do so, what benefit we are going to derive? The first one is, it is very much helpful for investors to make better and informed investment decisions. Now the investors are much more interested in knowing that to what extent your company is concerned towards ESG reporting, because they know only that company can sustain for long, which is showing or reflecting its concern towards ESG reporting. And I need not to repeat it again, that ESG and BRSR are synonym to each other when it comes to India, because in India ESG means BRSR. So second benefit is, it is helping more meaningful engagement with stakeholders. Your engagement is going to be meaningful with all the stakeholders, because they feel delighted, they feel satisfied. If your employees are working in a conducive work environment, they are actually bound to perform in a better manner. If your employees are adequately paid, they are given conducive work environment, what is the point of not contributing to the development of the company? They would definitely provide meaningful results. There would be a meaningful engagement with the stakeholders. It is helping us to look beyond financials. Your profit and loss, your EBIT, your EAT is not the only parameter of your company's success. If your EPS is very high, that doesn't mean that your company is doing very well. It is helping us to look beyond financials and focus on social and environmental impacts in addition to what we are doing in terms of financial performance. So what we have contributed beyond financials, that also plays a significant role, and BRSR reporting is providing us an opportunity to see that where do we stand when it comes to beyond profitability, or when it comes to non-financial performance of the company, where do we stand? It is the BRSR reporting which is telling us. It is like standing in front of a mirror, that here we stand in terms of ESG reporting. It is also helpful in developing a much better sustainable long-term strategy. You can't sustain for long if your practices are not sustainable in nature. If your business practices are not responsible in nature, you are not behaving like a responsible corporate citizen, you can't survive for long. It is helping us in creating brand image. Your company is known by it works. Whatever works you are doing, whatever practices you are following, that is helping in creating the brand image. We do say that Tata is one of the most ethical company in the world. So Tata has taken decades and decades to build this kind of brand image. It has not happened overnight. I'm not only talking about Tata. There are a number of Indian companies which have contributed significantly to the social concern, to the environmental concern, and also to the governance point. So it is facilitating larger investments into companies with higher ESG metrics. Now people are investing willingly into those companies where the ESG metrics are positive. The companies which are scoring higher on ESG metrics, they are getting huge investment opportunities. They need not to struggle for the investments. So the reason is very simple, that people can look for the sustainable practices, that now the company is not only making profit but also looking for the ESG concerns. So their practices are sustainable, they are working in a transparent manner, their governance is ethical, and they do have sustainable business practices. So there is nothing which can stop them from prospering in long run. If your employees are satisfied, then of course you would have better employees retention and engagement through pursuit of ESG initiatives. You can retain your good employees. If your employees are being regarded as an asset by your company, then of course they would also contribute significantly, they would also contribute meaningfully. So my dear learners, what exactly I am willing to establish here is that it is an opportunity for companies to establish, or I can say to streamline your internal systems and processes. We can streamline our entire system and process. BRSR is a golden opportunity for all the companies to streamline their systems, to streamline their practices. You can identify and assess your sustainability related risks and opportunities. When we start thinking about it, we identify, and we all know that once we know the problem, we can very easily find the solutions as well. So we can not only identify but also conduct the assessment simultaneously about the risks which we are witnessing, which we can find out. So I would say that BRSR is actually a standardized format to do the assessment of one's performance across peers, industries, or even complementing sectors. So you can do an assessment of your company's non-financial performance across industries, timelines, peers, and also the complementing sectors. So it is the opportunity for us to know where do we stand, and we can reduce the consumption of resources which are part of the value chain, and it reduces the direct operating cost as well. So you can reduce the cost as well. Although it might first take an investment in changing the way we have been producing the products or offering the services, but yes, since we have to go in long run, we should have a sustainable business practice. So initially the cost can be on the higher side, but eventually it is going to help us in achieving the cost reduction. We can reduce the cost, and it is only the cost reduction which can increase our profitability. So my dear learner, these are the benefits because of which the government of India has thought of coming up with this what you call as BRSR reporting or ESG reporting. So we need to understand that benefits are immense. That is why globally also these ESG practices are being recognized and they are being considered. And the testimony to it is the 17 SDGs, Sustainable Development Goals. Even UNDP's SDGs, all SDGs have at least one component out of these three keywords, ESG. So if you make a word cloud of all 17 SDGs, you would find the repetition of the strength of the environmental, social and governance component. Now coming to the compliance framework. What is the compliance framework of this BRSR? There is a regulation 34 of SEBI's LODR, that is listing obligation and disclosure requirement. So here what is there into regulation 34 of LODR? It actually requires every company to include the BRSR report in its annual report if it is applicable to you. Of course, it is applicable to top listed 1000 companies. So annual report to include BRSR report if it is applicable to you. And this kind of annual report is to be uploaded on the website of your company, and it is also supposed to be sent to the concerned stock exchange where your securities are listed. And for that there is a timeline. It should not later than the date of commencement of dispatch of AGM notice with the annual report to the shareholders. So when you are sending the notice of AGM annual general meeting to your shareholders, then only you should upload the same on the website of your company, and it should also be sent to the concerned stock exchange. And if there are any changes into the annual report, suppose if you have to make some changes into that, the revised copy along with the details of an explanation for the change, it should be sent within 48 hours after the AGM. If you are making some changes, the moment you conclude your AGM, that is annual general meeting, within 48 hours it need to be, the revised copy need to be sent to the concerned stock exchange. So we need to understand the very gravity of this regulation 34 of SEBI LODR, which talks about the submission of this document to the annual report to the stock exchange, and also to be uploaded on the website of the company. So assurance report is also needed. Assurance report on BRSR core shall be obtained in such a manner as may be prescribed by SEBI. SEBI is doing the prescription for this. It has prescribed, and this BRSR core shall contain such KPIs, that is called key performance indicators, which may be specified by the SEBI from time to time. This is what is there into the regulation, that SEBI would keep on revising those KPIs, key performance indicators, when it comes to the assurance report. And this assurance report shall also extend to the value chain partners in such a manner, again, which is prescribed by the SEBI, that it should also extend to the value chain partners. Now coming to the implementation of this new framework, the way it has been implemented. So BRSR core, it was proposed to be implemented for top 150 listed entities from the financial year 2023 and 24, and there was a term called including reasonable assurance. With a glided path, the path is glided to cover top 1000 listed entities by the financial year 26-27, which means the next financial year. So from financial year 2026-27 till then, we should cover top 1000 listed companies in order to improve credibility of disclosures. Now, along with these guidelines, there are certain annexures. In SEBI circular, which was circulated on July 12, 2023, there were two annexures. The first annexure contains the format of BRSR core, and annexure 2 contains the revised BRSR format. So in that, there is a format which is to be used by the companies who are doing the reporting. Now if we look at BRSR core annexure 1, what it contains? It specifies the data and approach for reporting and assurance, that what is the data and the approach with which it is going to be reported. Now what is approach? Approach specified is a base methodology, and any changes or industry specific adjustments or estimations, if they are there, they shall be disclosed here. So if your particular industry requires certain changes, now then those changes or estimations, they are supposed to be disclosed. Now this framework is, what is the intent? The intent is that this framework would be gradually extended to remaining listed entities in a phased manner, because they understand that it also involves some amount of cost. So initially they are not burdening all the companies. Initially it is coming up with the top 1000 companies, and then gradually it would be implemented to other entities as well. So initially what is expected? Initially they are expecting the companies to be on comply or explain model, comply or explain basis. Either you comply, or if you are not able to do so, you need to explain, and it is based on experience gathered, and based on the experience whatever they are gathering, it would be converted to comply or be penalized basis. So initially there is no penalty, they are supposed to only give an explanation if somehow they are not able to comply with, but later on, of course, there would be some component of penalty. Now what is expected? Expected that going forward even unlisted entities may be covered by MCA. We are expecting that cause of immense benefits derived from this BRSR reporting, it is very much likely that the Ministry of Corporate Affairs may extend these reporting initiatives to unlisted entities as well, the companies which are not listed in any of the stock exchange. Now when we talk about the ESG disclosures, and that too for value chain, that becomes a point of concern for us, that how they are going to make use of this ESG disclosures for value chain. Now, disclosure for value chain shall be made by the listed entity as per BRSR core, which is actually a part of its annual report. And for this purpose, what would happen? Value chain would actually encompass the top upstream and downstream partners of a listed entity. The top upstream and downstream partners of a listed entity, and cumulatively comprising 75% of its purchases or sales. Of course, by value we have to find that 75% of their purchase is going to be part of this ESG disclosure for value chain. Now, listed entities, they would report the KPIs in the BRSR core for their value chain to the extent it is attributable to their business with that value chain partner. So, whosoever is your value chain partner, according to that you would be reporting, and this kind of reporting may be segregated for upstream and downstream partners, or can be reported on an aggregate basis. So, it is there the option is there that it can be reported on an aggregate basis as well. And this ESG disclosure for the value chain shall be applicable to the top 250 listed entities by market capitalization on a comply or explain basis from this financial year, that is 2025 and 26. So, my dear learners, what is the objective here? The limited assurance of this entire disclosure is going to be applicable on a comply or explain basis from financial year 26-27. So, this is the basic motive to bring the sense of ESG concerns in the work culture of the corporate entities. So, with this I could try to provide you a brief understanding of what exactly we mean by BRSR, the way it has evolved into India, the way ESG has evolved into India. That is something which I tried to explain to you. The remaining part of this ESG reporting in India, I shall be explaining to you in the next lecture of mine. Thank you so much.